one game back. Dan Issel is with us today. Looks like Arkansas, as expected, is in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they really are. A big win Tuesday night against LSU, but there might be a letdown today. Stranger things have happened. They better be ready to play Ole Miss.
Let's talk about Kentucky now, the emotions of today's game for the Wildcats.
Well, it's going to be an unbelievable day. Senior day always is. Kentucky has won 27 straight senior days.
Let's look at the standings now in the divisional play as we look right now. Kentucky on top. They've wrapped up the East.
Yeah, and of course, Florida wrapped up second place with the win over Kentucky on Wednesday, but a big game for Tennessee as far as NCAA tournament bid is concerned.
Now over to the Western Division, and again, Arkansas is the lead there.
Yeah, and of course, if they win today, they're solidly entrenched in #1 spot. LSU, though, still a team to be reckoned with in the tournament.
And remember, the first two teams in the conference divisional races have the first-round byes. Here's how the tournament right now stacks up. Mississippi State will play Georgia or Vanderbilt. The only solid game on Thursday right now is Tennessee, South Carolina. Georgia or Vanderbilt will play Ole Miss. And then the teams with the bye, Alabama gets a bye for the best overall third-place record. They will play Florida. Should be an interesting tournament, Dan.
It really will be, and we haven't even talked about Alabama yet. They've got some great athletes in a tournament. Anybody can get hot. Alabama could win the whole thing.
So the final seedings for the SEC tournament will be settled today after the end of the action. There were some upsets this past week in the SEC, including that Florida Gators win over the Kentucky Wildcats. Here's a look at last week in the Southeastern Conference. An SEC showdown last week in Baton Rouge as LSU hosted Alabama, and the Tiger defense made its presence felt early. Jamie Brandon on the steal for the Tigers as LSU tried to lower the boom on the Tide. Vernell Singleton had 13 as he knifed through the Tide defense all day, and Shaquille O'Neal showed other skills rather than just scoring and rebounding. Nice pass to Maurice Williamson. It was a big win for LSU at home over Alabama. Arkansas, meanwhile, stayed in a tie with LSU in the SEC West, beating Mississippi State, and Auburn outslugged Ole Miss. Tennessee handed South Carolina its 11th straight loss. Also last Saturday, Georgia faced surprising Florida, but on this day, Latero Green and the Dogs had all the surprises. Green had 22 points for Georgia, and the Bulldogs forced the Gators into mistakes. Georgia's Sean Golden capitalized as the Bulldogs had an 11-point halftime lead. And the Bulldogs banged the boards. Reggie Tinch slams this one home as Georgia out-rebounded the Gators by 11. The Bulldogs slammed Florida 69-60, keeping their postseason tournament hopes alive, winning at the O-Dome. Elsewhere, the Kentucky Wildcats continued their mastery over Vanderbilt in Lexington behind Jamal Mashburn's 34. The biggest game of the week, the head-to-head showdown in Barnhill between LSU and Arkansas. And the Tigers took control of this game in a big way early. LSU ripped through the Arkansas defense, building up a 15-point lead. The Razorbacks were in trouble, but then they turned things over to their outstanding guard tandem, Mayday, Lee Mayberry, and Todd Day. Day was spectacular at times as he scored 25 points. And Lee Mayberry led the charge with 35 points as Mayberry and Day single-handedly got Arkansas back into this contest. But LSU had a chance to win it. Oliver Miller out-muscled Shaquille O'Neal late. No foul was called, and Nolan Richardson was thankful to send the game to overtime. And that's where Lee Mayberry took over again, as Arkansas, with the big play from Oliver Miller, able to outlast LSU in overtime. A huge win for the Razorbacks at home. Ole Miss put a scare into Alabama. Chucky Evans sparked Mississippi State. Tennessee won its first SEC road game, and South Carolina snapped their long losing streak. The top two teams in the SEC East met on Wednesday in Gainesville. Led by Stacy Poole, Florida came out supercharged in front of a sellout crowd. Florida rallied from a first-half deficit to take the lead against the Kentucky Wildcats. Try as he might, Rick Pitino couldn't keep his cats in this game as Florida fans start thinking about postseason tournaments. Andrew DeClerc and the Florida Gators pulled off their biggest win of the season, knocking off Kentucky 79-62. Kentucky tries to bounce back today against the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll talk to the Volunteer coach, Wade Houston, and also look at one of the great shooters in Tennessee history when we come back to Rupp Arena in a moment. In Lexington on Senior Day, 4 seniors make their final Rupp Arena appearance for the Kentucky Wildcats. But to win this game for Tennessee, Allen Houston's going to have a good game. He's an outstanding shooter. But there was another Tennessee player back in the early 70s, also a great shooter. And there's a look back at Mike Edwards. Mike Edwards is in his first year as the head basketball coach at Farragut High School just outside Knoxville. After spending several years as an assistant coach in college, Edwards is now enjoying running his own program.
All right, let's go, let's go, let's go! Look, look, look! There it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah! Hands up, let's go, hands up!
Tennessee basketball fans remember Mike Edwards as the long-range bomber from the Volunteers from 1971 through 73. Edwards remains 12th on the all-time Tennessee scoring list with over 1,300 points. He was recruited by Tennessee coach Ray Mears to do one thing: shoot the basketball.
He recruited players that had special talents, and in fact, he saw me at a clinic at Ball State University my junior year. Had never seen me play, and the coach had me come out and shoot some shots from the top of the key. After I got done shooting, Coach Mears came back and said, I recruit players to rebound and pass and ball handle and shoot, and I'd like for you to come to the University of Tennessee. So he basically offered me a full scholarship to the University of Tennessee without even seeing me play. And that's amazing. I don't know how many coaches would ever do that. That impressed me.
Edwards was the purest shooter I've ever seen anywhere, from the long distance. Absolute pure shooter. And once he got on track, there was no three-point shot, of course, when he played, but in that basic 20-foot range, once he's on track, 22, 24, 25, 28, 30, and he's just like that. Pure shooter. Pure shooter.
The Greenfield, Indiana native grew up thinking and breathing basketball. And when he came to Tennessee, his jump shots became part of the Big Orange attack.
My senior year, we had worked out almost to the hash mark. He felt like the farther that he could get me out to shoot the basketball, that it would open the middle up for the big men on our five-man fast break and make it very difficult to cover the inside and the outside.
And Tennessee would run the fast break, and sometimes, people don't believe this, sometimes one dribble past the center line, that's Edwards. I saw it.
If you don't have anywhere to throw it, take a timeout. Now listen, I want to play this just like the game's tied, all right? Yes, just like it's tied, all right?
Now, some 20 years after he shot his last jumper for the Volunteers, Mike Edwards is now teaching the game he loves to Farragut High School players.
And I think it's just the fact that that the basketball and the past, the Indiana, the UT, it just really hadn't gotten much out of my system. And this job opened up, and I felt like it was a good opportunity to go in and teach some kids the game of basketball.
If the ball comes off, hit it back here. Clog it, man. Get in front of him. Set it! Set it! Come on! Man, you just got to believe. That's all you got to do is believe. Shoot, Dave, shoot! Good game, man. You had a great year.
When Edwards talks about shooting, the players at Farragut listen. For one thing is certain, the gunner from Greenfield knows how to shoot the basketball. Mike Edwards, one of the great players in Tennessee history. We move to the present now. Wade Houston is the current Tennessee coach. Coach, you had a big win for your team Wednesday on the road at Georgia.
Thanks, Bob. That was a good win for us. It was our first conference win, so it sort of got the monkey off our back in terms of not having won a game in the conference. But we had played much better in the last 2 or 3 games on the road. I think we had done some things differently in practice and worked on some things defensively. So I wasn't surprised that we won the game. It's always tough to beat Georgia at Georgia because they're such a good basketball team.
Today you go into very hostile surroundings, though.
Well, that's true. The last 2 places we played, I mean, you wouldn't draw that up on the board as to how you want to finish your regular season, going to play in Athens and in Lexington. But that's how the schedule falls, and you have to play. This
is a tournament atmosphere today, though. It should prepare your team.
Well, usually a tournament atmosphere has more of a neutral setting. It is a big game for us, obviously. It's like a tournament game in terms of the importance of the game. But again, you'd like to have more of a neutral crowd at the game if you're going to play in a tournament.
You are a little bit banged up. What about Lang Wiseman, Carlos Groves?
Well, we're banged up, but this late in the season, when every game means as much as this game does, you have to forget about your injuries and put those things behind you. When the ball goes up, you have to go out and play.
Will Wiseman start today?
It's a good chance that he will start. It's a good chance that Carlos Groves will start. So I'll make a decision probably in a few minutes, but it's a good chance that both of those guys will start.
A lot of people are talking Tennessee's on the bubble for the NCAA tournament. Where do you think your team stands, and do you have to win this game today?
Well, we've been on the bubble now for about 3 weeks, I guess. So we're getting used to living on the bubble, I guess you could say. But I don't know. I think our win at Georgia was a big win for us because people know how tough it is to win in Athens, and people know how tough it is to win 17, 18 games in this league now. When you've got 12 teams in this league now, and when you've got the bottom team in one division who was ranked in the top 20 last year with 5 players back, the bottom team in the other division who beat Alabama, who's a great basketball team. I think everybody knows the difficulty of this league. So you've got a chance to get into the tournament if you can get 17, 18 wins.
Well, you beat Kentucky earlier in the season. Big challenge today. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Wade Houston of the Tennessee Volunteers. Speaking of legends, we will talk to Cawood Ledford, the legendary voice of the Kentucky Wildcats, when we come back on our SEC Sports Center in just a moment. Welcome back to the SEC Sports Center at Rupp Arena in Lexington. An emotional day for 4 Kentucky seniors, but also an emotional day for this man. Cawood Ledford, the legendary voice for the Kentucky Wildcats, calls his last game at Rupp Arena. What must be going through his mind right now as he prepares for his last broadcast in Rupp? Cawood Ledford has been the link from the glory days of Adolph Rupp to the present. To many UK fans, he is Kentucky basketball. He's described the action of the great players like Dan Issel in Rupp's runs, to the present stars like Jamal Mashburn. For the past 39 years, UK fans have lived the great moments through the eyes and voice of Cawood.
I think the moments you remember most are the great moments that a team has that you follow. And in all the years I've been here, 39, Kentucky's won the NCAA championship, which is tantamount to the national championship twice. They were 20 years apart. 1958, a team they called the Fiddlin' Five. And it was an underdog team. It went on to win the championship, and it was a very big surprise. Then 20 years later, 1978, a team that was ranked #1 just about all year, and I think easily was the best team in the country in 1978 to win that championship. Favored to do so and still did it under a lot of pressure. But I think those would be the 2 real basketball highlights in my career here.
Kentucky down quickly. Farmer for 3. Yes, sir. Farmer has as many points now as he had in the whole game down in Columbia. 11-8 Kentucky intercepted. Pelfrey for a 3. Got it.
We all like to be admired and respected, and for a sportscaster to have that for nearly 40 years is incredible, but Cawood Ledford has achieved that. I grew up listening to Cawood Ledford, and much of my professional style is modeled after Cawood. I can always remember when he came on the air, he had an excitement in his voice that said Kentucky basketball, Kentucky football, and I think all the fans felt that way. The thing I remember most about Cawood's style is that he played it straight. Cawood always played it straight. He didn't have a lot of gimmicks. He was giving you the information you wanted. That's how the team was doing, playing good or playing poorly. He told it like it was always. Later, when I was able to work with Cawood a few times, I discovered what everyone else already knew, that he was a consummate gentleman as well. He was as professional as they come and nice to friend and foe alike. If Cawood has a legacy, and he certainly does have a legacy, one that will be difficult for all that follow him to fill, I hope that he gets some sort of pleasure from people like me and many others that are in this business, partly because of Cawood Ledford, and have had our styles and our careers shaped by his many years behind the microphone.
Pelfrey comes out, takes it, had a notion, doesn't, now bounces into Mashburn, goes to the baseline, 8-footer, got it.
In the South, no question, the biggest change has been bringing the black athlete in. And it's really been a tremendous improvement in the sport, the way it's played. I think Southern basketball, frankly, wasn't all that good all the way through. You had a few good teams every year, like maybe North Carolina or Duke or Kentucky. But now they're all good. And I think the black athlete is responsible for that. And then the biggest recent changes certainly has been the shot clock. I did a game, I recall one game right off that at halftime score, Kentucky led 8-6. That's brutal on an announcer to have to try to call a game like that. And if it's bad on the announcer, the people that paid their money to get in, it's got to be awful. So the shot clock has eliminated that kind of game, and yet it doesn't make it a racehorse game if you elect to play at a slower pace. 45 seconds is plenty of time. And then the three-point shot. I really didn't think I'd like it. When they passed it, was a big surprise to everybody. When the Rules Committee, they kind of hang around after the NCAA's over, and they shot that baby back. It took everybody by surprise, but I do like it. I think it puts a lot of excitement in the game. So those have been the most recent big changes in college basketball.
Ready, gives to Pelfrey in the right corner for a 3. Beauty.
there is one memory that has stuck with me through the years, and is the work ethic of Cawood Ledford. You know, many people, when they climb the ladder of life and they get near that last rung on the ladder, they tend to slack off and call on their experience. And I'm sure in the business of sportscasting, there are many people that don't do the homework as Cawood Ledford. He's a true professional in every sense. He works just as hard today as he did the first day that I ever knew him.
But as much as anything, probably his humor stands out. In Rupp Arena a number of years ago, first time we had played in Rupp Arena, I guess, first year, the ball game was getting ready to start, and we were late getting back because of the commercials, and Burl Crowell came over. And I said, Burl, can you hold up the game for just a minute? We need a little bit of extra time. And Burl looked over at me, and he says, well, would you say something nice about me? Cawood looked at him and says, throw the ball up.
I will miss seeing him. I will miss seeing him coming to Lexington, because he's as been as much a Kentucky basketball fan as he has been a broadcaster.
Here's Harrison, gives it off to Riddick, stuff. And he can stuff it.
Other people use the word retire. I don't. I call it hanging it up. I'm going to hang it up as a basketball and football and sports broadcasting. But I don't know. I can't see. I don't have any hobbies. So I don't get any big wheeze out of fishing or hunting or playing golf. So I don't know, but I'm going to stay busy doing something.
SEC basketball will miss Cawood Ledford. Back to get an update on the SEC women's tournament when we come back. Kentucky, and they are saluting the 4 Kentucky seniors on this team. That's John Pelfrey, one of the 4 Kentucky players playing their final game in Rupp Arena. The SEC men's tournament starts this week in Birmingham. The women's tournament started yesterday in Albany, Georgia. Now, as we enter the tournament, it's going to be very competitive because there are 2 teams ranked in the top 5 in the nation. Defending national champion Tennessee is number 2 coming into the tournament, and Ole Miss, the SEC regular season champion, is number 3. Now, the brackets from last night, the winners, Auburn beat Florida, Vanderbilt over South Carolina, Kentucky beat Arkansas, and it was LSU over Mississippi State. So the games today will find Ole Miss and Auburn, Georgia taking on Vanderbilt, Kentucky plays Alabama, and LSU takes on defending national champion Tennessee. Should be a very interesting tournament because there are at least 4 teams going to the NCAA, but several teams on the bubble. We had a chance to talk with Lady Vol coach Pat Summit to get her thoughts on how this SEC women's tournament is going to shake down in Albany this weekend.
I think this tournament's very important for some teams that are on the bubble, and maybe some very talented teams that got a slow start or lost some close games, and they could be on the bubble, and I think that would really affect their motivation and how they might play in Albany. So I tell you, that's tough when you have to play against teams that could potentially be fighting for an NCAA bid when you know that you potentially should get one. So that's going to make it even more competitive.
And the SEC Women's Championship is Monday night in Albany, Georgia. A very emotional scene in Lexington on Senior Day. And back to wrap up the SEC Sports Center in just a moment.
SEC Sports Center has been brought to you by Delta, the airline of SEC country. We love to fly, and it shows. By AT&T, proud sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. And by Lowe's, helping add value to your home.
This reminder, the SEC tournament starts up this week in Birmingham. The games start on Thursday and run through Sunday when the SEC championship is played. Coming up today, an SEC doubleheader, the Tennessee Volunteers and the Kentucky Wildcats, and then later LSU takes on Mississippi State. An emotional day, Senior Day here in Rupp Arena. Presentation of Jefferson Pilot Sports. The SEC basketball tournament in Birmingham is only 5 days away. And the Tennessee Volunteers remember last year's tournament very well as they advanced to the SEC Finals. Wade Houston's team is now gathering momentum for the postseason, but has a tough task today facing Kentucky. Rick Pitino's Cats were stunned Wednesday at Florida, a loss that knocked Kentucky out of the SEC lead. But look for the Wildcats to be fired up today. It's senior day at Rupp Arena, plus the Kentucky Wildcats face arch rival Tennessee.
Jefferson Pilot Sports presents the best in regional college basketball, the Southeastern Conference. The Pepsi SEC Game of the Week is brought to you by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company. For insurance and financial services, better call Jefferson Pilot. By your local BP service stations with high-quality gasolines and friendly service. BP on the move. By Delta, the airline of SEC country. We love to fly, and it shows. And by Pepsi. Gotta have it.
A record crowd's expected today at Rupp Arena in Lexington for the last regular season home game for the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky takes on the Tennessee Volunteers. Both teams have hopes of going to the NCAA tournament. Both teams want to end the regular season on a good note. I'm Bob Kessling, and welcome to Rupp Arena on a very emotional day. It's senior day. They've just honored the 4 Kentucky seniors. Plus, Cawood Ledford, the legendary voice of the Wildcats, broadcast his last home game today. But basketball is important. Dan, how will Kentucky really handle all the emotion of today?
Well, I think that's the big issue here because the game really doesn't mean that much. But there's enough emotion in this arena to think they were playing for the national championship. We'll just have to wait and see how the seniors and the underclassmen react.
Kentucky was also hoping to play for an SEC championship, an overall title, but they were upset by Florida on Wednesday night, so they're 1 game behind Arkansas. So Kentucky still has a shot, but Arkansas's got to lose.
Yeah, it's a long shot, but of course Kentucky now getting ready for the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament after that.
So let's talk about the emotions of these 4 seniors for Kentucky today.
Well, it's a day, Bob, that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. Richie Farmer was telling me before the game that I never get nervous playing a basketball game. He said, but right now I'm more nervous than I've ever been in my entire life.
And it's amazing, these 4 seniors, really all of them could have left Kentucky during the probation days. They stayed and helped rebuild the program.
Yeah, and they are the glue that held this program together through very difficult times. Not the most talented people that ever played here, but probably have as big a heart as anybody that ever put the blue uniform on.
But for Kentucky to win today, they've got to slow down Allen Houston, one of the fine premier players in this conference.
He really is. And of course, the great thing about Allen Houston is he scores a lot of points, but a lot of people can do that. When the game is on the line, Allen Houston is the one that takes the big shot, and he's hoping that his teammates will help put him in that situation today.
Yeah, he's won 5 games this year with last-second shots and hopes to have a shot to do that again today. Also, he rebounds very well and also is getting a lot of assists. So Allen Houston, very well over-round player, and he's going to have to play well today for Tennessee to knock off Kentucky. The Wildcats and the Volunteers from Rupp Arena will have the starting lineups in a moment. Rupp Arena is live with the emotion of the 4 seniors who were just honored before the game. John Pelfrey, Richie Farmer, Darren Feldhouse, Sean Woods. Dan, you went through this emotion here at Kentucky. What's it like?
Well, I was telling John Pelfrey before the game to relax and enjoy it because it's something he will remember the rest of his life. I went through this 22 years ago, Bob, and it seems like it was yesterday afternoon.
So the Wildcats take on arch rival Tennessee. The Volunteers have played in 12 of these senior games. Kentucky's won 11. Here the Volunteers have the lineup today. Corey Allen. Allen Houston's been bothered by bone spurs, but he'll be in the starting lineup. Carlos Groves has a bad back, but he's in there. Lang Wiseman has a bad ankle, but he's playing today. Jay Price is the point guard for the Volunteers. Wade Houston, the Tennessee coach, now in his 3rd year with the Volunteers, trying to win their way into the NCAA tournament. A win over Kentucky today would take them a long way toward getting that bid. Now the Kentucky Wildcats. Jamal Mashburn is one of the starting forwards, one of the seniors. John Pelfrey will be at the other forward. In the middle, they've been searching for his center all season long. Andre Riddick gets the start today, the 6'9 freshman. In the backcourt, Sean Woods, the senior point guard, and Richie Farmer has moved into the starting lineup, the 6-foot senior from Manchester, Tennessee. And there's Rick Pitino, the youngest head coach in the Southeastern Conference. He's done a remarkable job of rebuilding this Kentucky program, and today they try and end the season on a good note against the Tennessee Volunteers. We'll be back for the opening tip from Rupp Arena Tennessee and Kentucky after this word from Pepsi. In Kentucky, set to go from Rupp Arena in Lexington. Bob Kessling with Dan Issel to bring you the game this afternoon. Kentucky, of course, has been dominant in this series. They have 113 wins and 57 losses, but the 57 losses, the most any other team has beaten Kentucky. So Tennessee has always been a big rival, Dan.
Well, of course they would be a big rival just because of the proximity of the two states. But in addition, you're right, Tennessee has had more success against the Wildcats than any other team in the conference.
There's the earlier matchup down in Knoxville. Tennessee won that. John Clackerty is one of the officials today, along with David Day and Tom Eaves. And again, injuries a problem with Tennessee right now. Groves with a bad back. Wiseman, they just have to see how long he can go on the ankle.
Yeah, and of course for Tennessee, this is a big game because they just broke their 11-game SEC road losing streak, winning the last time out in Georgia. And a win today could pretty well lock up a spot for them in the NCAA tournament.
Wiseman actually has two bad ankles. He sprained one earlier, the left one. He sprained the right one the other night, but he's going to go on it. To do that when you play Kentucky. Smokey's ready, so are the Volunteers and the Wildcats from a supercharged Rupp Arena. Groves and Riddick jumping up, and Farmer gets the tap, and Farmer takes it right to the basket. Kentucky jumps out in front early, 2-0.
And of course they come with the patented press. They'll be putting the pressure on the Tennessee ball handlers all game right now. Token pressure, not necessarily trying to steal the ball, just making it difficult for Tennessee to get in the offense.
And Richie Farmer opens up on Allen Houston. Now they switch, and John Pelfrey has him out front. Shut off that time, out to Corey Allen. And now Jay Price, the point guard, has it out front. Shot clock at 19, and Price going to fire. Good tip by Wiseman. Tennessee ties it.
Well, you can't let a guard come back and get a tip in. Kentucky's going to have to get better rebounding position than that.
There's the first three of the afternoon. They give it to Farmer, a three.
Almost basket interference. Wade Houston wants basket interference. And the official says no, count the three. The ball popped straight up in the air, came down through. I think Riddick hit the rim, but the ball was already in the basket.
Kentucky leads 5-2. We've been tied once already. Now here's a steal by Farmer. The press works. Mashburn. He's the best three-pointer on the team.
An unbelievably talented young man. He can play inside. Here's that earlier three-pointer. Watch it pop straight up in the air. Riddick didn't touch the ball, but he did hit the rim.
Corey Allen. Now to Jay Price. Inside Carlos Groves. He's tough in there.
Well, I think that's where Tennessee, Bob, is going to have to concentrate offensively, getting the ball inside, letting Groves and Allen take it to the smaller Kentucky.
Farmer again. That's his second of the day. He's got 8 points early.
He said he was awfully nervous, but once the game started, he would be all right, and he's shown it with his first 2 three-point attempts.
Kentucky's got 3 three-pointers already and lead Tennessee by 7. Senior day might have helped Richie Farmer.
And Tennessee, playing in front of this hostile crowd, is going to take their time, try to shorten the game. They're going to have to get a good shot every trip down.
Houston on the baseline. That won't stay down, and Kentucky's got the ball and looks to run. Sean Woods. Riddick wasn't looking, but gets it back. Good block by Corey Allen, and Tennessee runs back the other way. Carlos Groves leads the break. The big guy got down the floor.
Great defensive play by Allen at the other end, too. Riddick kind of nonchalant with his shot, and Allen slapped it away.
So Kentucky, a team averaging 9 three-pointers a game, has come out firing already on this one. They've got 8 three-pointers already, and an inside move by Mashburn.
John Pelfrey second on this team in assists, kind of unusual from the forward position, but he knows how to play the game, and he really found the crease getting it inside to Mashburn.
Lang Wiseman got in trouble. Carlos Groves tries to save it and does. And again, Pelfrey's got the long day trying to chase Allen Houston. Jay Price has the ball knocked out of bounds. Kentucky very active on defense.
Well, they really are, and of course that man has put in the three-point offense, and that attracts a lot of attention when you talk about Kentucky. What they don't get enough credit for is their defense. There's a 5-second call.
Wiseman couldn't get it in, tried to get it down low to Carlos Groves, and Rick Pitino's defense has created its second turnover. And the Cats lead by 7, 17:03 to go first half. Tennessee has shown a lot of zone this year, but right now they're man-to-man. And Carlos Groves knocks the ball off Riddick out of bounds.
You really don't like your big people handling a ball that far away from the basket. That time, Groves knocked it off of Riddick's foot before it went out of bounds.
Now Lang Wiseman goes out. We'll see if that ankle's bothering him, whether he can move very well. And Steve Rivers, one of Tennessee's best defensive players, is into the game. Price has the ball now to Corey Allen. Kentucky has jumped out to the early lead. Allen Houston hits his first basket of the day on a nice baseline move.
Yeah, the first time these two teams met, Allen Houston, 36 points. Pitino's concerned about how he's going to stop him.
There's a foul down low on Tennessee holding. The foul is going to be on Jay Price. Price is senior from Chattanooga Brainerd. He's really a two-guard, but he's been forced to play point guard for Tennessee and has really done a very good job from a leadership standpoint.
And coming on well of late offensively, 24 points against Georgia Wednesday night.
Mashburn on the baseline. Kentucky pretty deliberate right now. Mashburn, a good strong move to the basket, but Allen Houston rips off the rebound. It's a 5-point game.
And once again, Tennessee's going to pull it out, try to take some time off the clock, make sure they get a good shot.
There's a deflected pass, and the Wildcats with the steal. Farmer to Pelfrey. He's going to put up a three, and that's blocked by Allen Houston.
Allen Houston showing you what kind of an athlete he is, getting off the floor in a hurry, slapping that three-point attempt away.
Big-time play by Allen Houston. And now Tennessee down by 5, attacks again. Carlos Groves gets away from Mashburn. That's a problem they're going to have all day.
Well, Mashburn was finding Groves, and he got no weak side help. Richie Farmer had his back turned, and when the lob pass connected, an easy basket.
Farmer down the lane. Blocker charge. Groves went down hard on that bad back, but he jumps up, and the foul's going to be on Groves, and Wade Houston doesn't like it.
Take another look at it. A nice cut by Farmer down the middle, and Groves just didn't get there in time. And count the basket. 3-point opportunity of a different kind for Richie Farmer.
And Farmer already has 10 points in this game, and Groves picks up his first foul. Farmer now 4 of 4 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3-point range, and Farmer now goes to the stripe. 84% free throw shooter. He has really worked at his game. And now has 11 points to lead Kentucky early. The Kentucky Wildcats lead Tennessee by 6 here at Rupp Arena.
Carlos Groves on the low post. Mashburn's going to get around in front. Pretty pass by Allen Houston, but look at no weak side help. Richie Farmer had his back turned on the weak side. By the time he got there, it was too late.
That's the biggest defensive problem the Wildcats will have all day trying to stop Carlos Groves. Kentucky shooting 6 of 9 from the field, 67%. Tennessee is 5 of 7, so neither team has missed very much today.
First time these two teams met in Knoxville, Bob, Carlos Groves had 23 points. That was his career high at the time.
Pressure by the Wildcats again. They want to get the ball in Houston's hands, though, don't they?
Well, that's where you want it because he can do so many things. He can shoot, he can drive, and he can dish.
Over Farmer, foul. And Allen Houston, the leading free throw shooter in the Southeastern Conference, will go to the line.
Well, and Rick Pitino has to be concerned with how many times he's going to put Houston on the line because it's almost automatic. In the first meeting in Knoxville, Houston was 15 of 16 from the charity stripe.
And in that first matchup, Tennessee hit 48 of 59 free throws. That's an SEC record.
Allen Houston really doesn't get the nationwide attention that he deserves because his team hasn't been that good a team over the course of his career. But this young man, a can't-miss prospect for the NBA.
And there's news. He just missed a free throw. And he's missed 2. That doesn't happen very much. But Houston misses his first 2 tosses.
Well, that's what 24,000 in Rupp Arena can do to you.
There's Darren Feldhouse, the Kentucky 6th man, and again it's tipped in this time by Jamel Martinez.
Martinez taken out of the starting lineup a few games back, and I think it really kind of woke the young man up. He seems to be playing much better basketball coming off the bench for Pitino.
He had a problem getting fouls early, and he settles down coming off the bench. A big play there. Kentucky leads by 8. Steve Rivers been a little more offensive-minded, but dumps it in the low to Corey Allen. A tough hook and a tip and another tip. That won't stay down. And finally, I think Kentucky tipped it in.
Well, again, just too many offensive opportunities for Tennessee. If you're Kentucky, not much blocking out.
Martinez working hard, but took an extra step. So the Cats turn it over.
Martinez just a little too anxious to get that shot away, and a traveling call, and I think that's the first turnover for Kentucky. Of course, Kentucky leads the SEC in turnover margin. They turn the ball over 4 times a game less than does their opponent. And there's another 5-second call.
Wade Houston not happy. His team down by 6 right now. The jacket came off early. You know, the heat of the battle picks up when Coach Houston takes the jacket off. And it came off in less than 5 minutes on this one.
Travis Ford in the game. He too has a sore ankle. Really not expected to see much playing time today.
And also Dale Brown has the ball now. He's into the game. So both teams use substitutions early. Darren Feldhouse, one of the Kentucky seniors, with it. Now to Travis Ford, the transfer from Missouri, who's really given Kentucky some depth at guard. Inside Martinez, and Carlos Groves makes a big play.
Tennessee in a zone that trip, and Kentucky found a way to get it down low to Martinez, but a great defensive play by Groves.
13.5 to go. Now Travis Ford will pick up Allen Houston. That's the third different Kentucky Wildcat to try and stop him. Now they double team him. Steve Rivers. Look at Groves on the boards. He's a tough guy inside, and he's got 10 early.
And Patino's going to his bench. He wants Riddick back in the ball game. He's seen enough of offensive rebounding from the Tennessee people.
It's a 4-point Kentucky lead. The Wildcats have never trailed in the game. It's been tied once. Martinez again on the baseline. Dale Brown. Good work inside by Jamal Mashburn, but Groves makes another play and takes it away. 13 minutes to go in the half. Tennessee down 4.
Kentucky right now, Bob, playing great man-to-man defense. It's tough for Tennessee to even penetrate into the 3-second area.
Feldhouse now checking Allen Houston. That's a big pick set by Carlos Groves right there now.
Boy, he knocked Travis Ford into the next time zone.
Shot clock at 10. Feldhouse staying right with Allen Houston and forces an air ball.
Go back to a trip or two ago, and you see Carlos Groves really doing a nice job working the offensive board. He goes to the far side of the basket and lays it in, and because of that offensive rebounding, Riddick back in the ball game. You see early on Tennessee dominating the boards.
Yeah, you want to put a body on Carlos Groves. When you do that, you just bounce off him. He's so big, don't you?
Well, he's a muscular young man, and that's been a problem for Kentucky all year long, their inside play.
Groves sits down, so does Jay Price. You just saw Jay go to the bench, and the Volunteers now get Lang Wiseman back into the game. Ford running the show. Feldhouse can't get the shot off. Ford will. They don't back down for the three-pointer, do they?
No, and you're seeing right now Kentucky at its best. When they're hitting the three-point shot, it opens up everything for their offense, and they're a great team. When they're not hitting that outside shot, the defense collapses, and they're a pretty ordinary club.
Look at Kentucky so far at three-point range. Farmer has 2 of them, Ford 1, and Pelfrey 1. And Tennessee hasn't hit one yet. But Kentucky does have a 7-point lead on Senior Day at Rupp Arena. Tournament starts this Thursday down in Birmingham, Alabama. The first games on Thursday start at 3 o'clock Eastern time. There are 2 games on Thursday night, and then on Friday another big day with 4 games of the SEC tournament. And check your local JP station for the games in your area. There's Cawood Ledford, Dan, a guy that's been calling games for a lot of years.
He's been here 39 years. Only Coach Rupp at 42 years has been connected with the program longer. And Cawood, as big a part of Kentucky basketball as any coach or any player that's ever been here.
And they're going to have a special tribute to Cawood Ledford after today's game. This will be his final game at Rupp Arena. Of course, he will call the games and the SEC tournament, and as Kentucky moves on to the NCAA. So it's not his last game, just his last game at home. Tennessee trailing Kentucky by 7 with the basketball. Corey Allen's open. Doesn't shoot often out there, but drills that one.
Only a two-pointer. He was just a foot or two inside the three-point line. But I think Kentucky will take Corey Allen shooting the perimeter jump shot.
Dale Brown, again, the junior college transfers, giving Kentucky some outside shooting is in there. Riddick, the center, way out front. And now Ford has it looking in low.
Tennessee back in the man-to-man, and I'm sure that Wade Houston will be changing up defenses all day long.
Brown in trouble, but gets it low to Riddick. A deflected pass, and Riddick scores his first basket. And now again, Kentucky knocks the ball out of bounds. Dale Brown on the good defense.
Well, Dale did exactly what you're supposed to do whenever you knock it out of bounds. Point the other direction and hope that the official missed it.
There were two standing right there, though. They didn't miss it. And now Kentucky keeps up the pressure. Allen, a junior college transfer for Tennessee, has made a big impact on the Volunteers. Gets it down low. Michael Curry gets the cut and the basket.
And another body block by the Tennessee player, Curry, knocking a Kentucky defender to the floor and having the open shot.
Lang Wiseman picks that one away from Travis Ford up court to Steve Rivers. Now to Wiseman. The bucket goes, and he's fouled.
And I think that Lang Wiseman is a big key to today's game. You know Houston's going to be there. You know the big people are going to score inside. Wiseman sometimes has great games, sometimes pretty ordinary. Of course, he's under the weather physically today, but he could be a big key for Tennessee staying in this game. He's got a chance now for a three-point play to put his team within 2.
Kentucky got off to a great start, 16 points in the first 4.5 minutes, but now they've cooled off a little bit. The lead is 3. Tennessee's now missed 3 straight free throws.
Well, I think the emotion now is starting to wear off. The crowd really kind of quiet after the big pregame festivities.
It's a 3-point Kentucky lead. Mashburn, Kentucky's best percentage-wise 3-point shooter. Down low, Darren Feldhouse. Good move against Rivers and draws the foul.
Great job by Feldhouse on the low post, keeping his pivot foot planted. He made a couple of steps with his off foot. Watch, the right foot will stay planted right there, and he takes a couple of steps with the left foot, but he doesn't travel, and he'll go to the free throw line. And Darren Feldhouse, one of the better free throw shooters for Kentucky, 81%.
Feldhouse, one of the guys, there's Sean Woods back into the game. Feldhouse, one of the guys that many people thought, well, when the probation came up, maybe he would leave, but he had Kentucky blood in him for the very start.
Well, his father played here and was a letterman for a couple of years under Coach Rupp. He grew up following Kentucky basketball, probably listening to Cawood Ledford, and this was the only place that Darren was going to play.
So Feldhouse, the 6th man for Kentucky, hits 1 of 2 at the line. Now the Tennessee deficit now is 4. Now Groves back into the game.
And I think that Carlos Groves, as important as he is for Tennessee, he better get his rest when he can, because he's not going to be off the floor much today.
Yeah, Groves has hit 4 out of 5. He has 8 points to lead Tennessee. Nobody else. Well, Wiseman has 4. Nobody else has scored more than 4. 24-20 at the 10-minute mark. Mashburn now trying to stay in front of Carlos Groves down low, and Wiseman going to dump it down low. Groves walks on the baseline. Oh, they say a push.
Oh, they're going to call Riddick for the push. They're going to say that's what caused the travel. Rick Pitino not too upset with the call. Wiseman gets in the air and dumps it down to Groves. Right there was the body contact, and in the official's estimation, that caused the travel.
Kentucky now with 4 team fouls. Tennessee with 3. Allen Houston gets away from Brown and misses the 3-pointer, and Curry pushes off down low.
Good job that time, and that's why Coach Pitino put Riddick back in the ball game, was because of the offensive rebounding. Good position that time by Riddick. Curry pushed him in the back, and the officials saw it.
9:40 to go first half. Kentucky leads by 4. The game has been tied once, and the Wildcats have led by as many as 7 in this game. They just run the offense, Dan, trying to free somebody for the 3-pointer, don't they?
Yeah, and one of the big complaints of Coach Pitino in the loss to Florida,
but Mashburn gets loose down the lane,
was the shot selection. And so you can bet the last couple of days the Kentucky players have heard, take better shots, and they're not going to be in a hurry today.
Mashburn with 7 points in the game now, and Dale Brown comes up with a loose ball. Good move by Brown, no foul call. Now it is. couldn't hear the whistle.
Boy, and Allen Houston really struggling early on in this game. That time, Dale Brown just took the ball away from him on the dribble. We'll get another chance to look at it. The left-handed dribble, he tries to go between his legs and hit his knee. And then Brown brings it right back to him, and the foul right there on Houston. Take another look at the low angle. Watch him, tries to go between his legs. And Dale Brown comes away with the basketball.
So Brown now goes to the stripe. Dale only a 51% free throw shooter. But he's given Kentucky some outside scoring that they desperately needed, but he misses that free throw. Neither team could shoot free throws.
And you know, in this young man's situation, it just has to be a mental block. I mean, he's an outstanding shooter. This is the easiest shot in the game of basketball. The first one was long, and the second one short.
Kentucky now at the line. 2 out of 5. Tennessee is 0 for 3 at the line. Another steal by Brown. This time against Price. Well, he got his 2 points back.
He had to do it the hard way, but that was an excellent example of the quick hands of Dale Brown. He just reached around behind Price and took the ball away.
Now Tennessee trying to break the press. Carlos Groves has it. Back to Price. He dumps a load of Curry. And the shot is blocked, and a goaltend is going to be called. Curry, he's off to a blazing start with 4 points. 12 times this year he didn't score.
Tennessee almost throws this fast break opportunity away. You'll see the ball on the way down. Riddick hit it, but Tennessee overpassing a little bit too much, and they let Kentucky's defense come back and get into the game.
8:15 to go in the first half. The Cats lead Tennessee by 6. Mashburn. What a nice move, but it's too hard. Now a big collision on the board, and what are they going to call? Over the back.
Is it going to go against Feldhaus or Riddick? No, it's on Feldhaus. Darren jumping on the back, going for the offensive rebound. Let's take another look at him. Mashburn with a nice move, but he's going to hit the back of the rim. Feldhaus, yeah.
A clear foul on Kentucky, and for the Wildcats, that's team foul number 5, and Tennessee has 5. Kentucky gets some subs into the game. John Pelfrey's in, and Mashburn intercepts a long pass. Martinez back to Mashburn. And Tennessee pushes it up. Curry's ahead of the pack and can't handle the pass. Got in a hurry.
And that's what this crowd and the running game of Kentucky will do to you. All Michael Curry had to do was catch the basketball, and he had an easy lay-in.
Tennessee with 8 turnovers, and that computes to an 8-point Kentucky lead at Rupp Arena.
Carlos Groves hangs the ball up, and Mashburn comes away with a steal, but watch what else he does. Nice pass by Martinez. Mashburn never gave up on the play, and he's rewarded with the 2 points.
Mashburn like a free safety in football that time. Tennessee with 8 turnovers now in the game, and the Wildcats have 4. And look at that, Kentucky's been able to take advantage of those turnovers, and the Wildcats have the ball. Woods running the show. Mashburn's in there. Martinez, Pelfrey, and Richie Farmer for Kentucky right now. And Pelfrey going to put up his first 3.
Out of the timeout, Coach Pitino trying to get Pelfrey off the snide, runs a double screen. John had the wide open 3-pointer, just a little hard.
Pelfrey 0 for 2 to start the game. Again, Tennessee running gets cut, and Wiseman puts up a long bomb, and that's a 3.
And he can do that. He's a very streak shooter. When he gets hot, he can fill it up with the best of them. And right now, Tennessee's going to need his offense to keep this game tight.
That's his 34th 3-pointer of the year. And again, it's a 5-point game now. Tennessee hanging around. Mashburn to Martinez. And the ball knocked out of bounds by an active Tennessee defense. The Wildcats will get it with 28 seconds on the shot clock. 7:02 to go in the first half.
Kentucky doing a good job of finding the seams in the defense, whether it be a man-to-man or a zone. Their inside passing, outstanding so far.
Sean Woods penetrates. Now to Pelfrey. A 15-footer is, Mashburn. He's got 11.
Well, Mashburn can do it all. He's a strong inside player, and he can go out and shoot the 3-pointer. He's an outstanding offensive player.
He's in the top 10 in the league in rebounding, scoring, field goal percentage, and free throw shooting. And now he's 5 of 7 in this game. And again, Kentucky knocks it out of bounds.
And the best thing about him, as far as Coach Pitino is concerned, he'll be back here 2 more years.
That's right. For the SEC Women's Tournament, a final, Ole Miss, the number 3 team in the country, and the SEC regular season champion, won against Auburn today, 58-52. Allen Houston going to pull up for a long bomb. Look at Tennessee going to the boards, and Corey Allen and Lang Wiseman were both there. That's been Kentucky's big problem all year, getting somebody to rebound. Wiseman, no good. Carlos Groves working hard, and Martinez fouls him, and the bucket goes.
Groves really working hard on the inside. He's been one of the main reasons Tennessee's kept this game as close as they have. His second shot opportunities, working the boards extremely hard. He got away with a little shove there on Pelfrey. Now he gets Martinez in the air. When the defender gets in the air, there's not a whole lot he can do, and Martinez, by the look on his face, knows he made a bad mistake.
And Groves completes the three-point play, and he's got 11 early in this game.
Now Tennessee comes with a full court pressure of their own. A lot of people think the best way to handle a pressing team is to press them right back.
Farmer faked the three. Mashburn fakes it, comes in close. Riddick there to tap it in. Riddick or Feldhaus. Yep, Riddick gets it. And now a whistle and a foul and a reach-in against Richie Farmer, and that will send Tennessee to the line.
Richie trying to take the ball away from Houston. Got a little too much forearm, and Allen Houston will go to the line. We saw something that I don't know if it's happened all year. The first time Houston went to the line, he missed both free throws.
The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports, and a use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited.
Bill Kitely, Mr. Wildcat, sitting to the right of Richie Farmer. He's been here longer. We talked about Coach Rupp and Cawood. I think Bill Kitely's been here longer than anybody.
He really has. Allen Houston finally gets the free throw that up. There's Richie Farmer and Bill. The second shot is good by Allen Houston, so he misses his first two, hits his next two, and again, it's a 4-point Kentucky lead. Good look down low, but Riddick misses the layup. Great pass, and Riddick just didn't finish it.
Well, the young man looks like he's just playing a little too tight. He could have laid it off, or he could have dunked it, and he kind of did in between and got it hung up on the rim.
Tennessee can close to 1 with a three-pointer here. Wiseman taking it strong to the basket, and Wiseman has 9 points.
And it didn't look like that ankle was bothering him too much on that move. A nice cut, and then he really elevated to get the shot away.
2-point game. Tennessee playing with a lot of confidence. Feldhaus for 3. Now the Kentucky lead goes back out to 5. And now Travis Ford going to re-enter the Kentucky lineup, replacing Sean Woods. They're trying to keep people fresh and keep up the pressure.
Well, you play at this pace, the full court pressing defense and the tough half court defense and the running game. You have to have fresh people in. You see Kentucky uses their bench very wisely.
Corey Allen going to penetrate, doesn't take the shot. Allen Houston in the game, only 1 of 5. Gets it low to Groves, and he has the shot blocked this time. But Wiseman comes up with it, and he scores.
And that's his second offensive rebound and basket for Lang Wiseman in this first half.
And it's a 3-point game now. 37-34 Wildcats. Feldhaus open again. Missed that one. And Tennessee with the ball down 3.
Mashburn with a nice pick that time to spring Feldhaus wide open, but he couldn't get it to go down.
Groves gives it back out to Corey Allen, and it's a 1-point game. Corey Allen. And now the Kentucky crowd getting a little anxious. Darren Feldhaus cuts through, and what are they going to call, a hold or a push-off?
I think they're going to call a hold on Wiseman. Looked like he had a handful of jersey as Feldhaus went off of the screen.
Yeah, that's one thing. When you got one bad ankle, it's tough enough. You got 2, and it's really tough to make those quick cuts.
Yeah, it really is. I'm sure that his ankles are heavily taped. Allen Houston going to sit down for a while.
Houston off to kind of a slow start in this game, shooting-wise. Allen only 1 of 5. Remember, in the first game, en route to 36 points, he was 10 of 16 against Kentucky. Mashburn to Feldhaus, another 3. Good inside position by Mashburn. And he scores.
Offensive rebounding is just hard work, Bob, and that time Mashburn just wanted it a little more than the Tennessee players got inside and got the easy follow-in.
Kentucky saw Tennessee cut the lead to 1, and now it's back out to 3 again. Brown loses Wiseman, misses this time, and Mashburn clears off the boards. Carlos Groves strips him. It's loose on the floor, and a traveling violation on Mashburn as he rolled around on the floor with Groves on top of it.
Not a popular call here in Rupp Arena, especially with that man that Mashburn knocked to the floor, and if there's no foul call, it can only be a travel. We'll take another look at it. Right there, Groves knocking Mashburn down to the floor.
Wildcat fans aren't happy. Tennessee is in the game, down by 3 to Rick Pitino's Wildcats, and we'll return after this word from Pepsi. Doubleheader day here on JP Sports. Later on today at 4 o'clock Eastern, Mississippi State takes on the LSU Tigers. Tim Brando and Larry Conley will have that game for you. Here in Lexington, it is Tennessee trailing Kentucky 39-36, and both teams are shooting very well, Dan.
They really are. Kentucky 57%, Tennessee 59%. But look at the difference on the offensive boards. Tennessee with 11 second chance points, and that is the difference, or the reason that Tennessee's as close as they are in this game.
But the Volunteers make another turnover as the ball is taken away, and now Tennessee has 9 turnovers, and Kentucky's got the ball. And Brown's open for a 3, but penetrates and gets bumped by Carlos Groves. He might have saved a basket, but he picks up the foul.
And I think that Groves, a little defensive mistake of his own right there. Brown gave him a little head fake on the perimeter. Watch the little ball fake and head fake. Groves jumps at him, then bangs him with the hip.
They said, what did I do? What did I do? A little bump there by Carlos. Carlos was playing with a back brace, a little belt around his waist, basically to keep it warm, and he's taken that off. He says, when you play Kentucky, you don't worry about being hurt, you just go after him. And again, Brown misses the free toss. Brown is 0 for 3 at the stripe in the game. And again, Tennessee with a chance to tie the game. It's been tied once at 2-all. Kentucky has led since then. At one point, it built the lead to as many as 8.
Kentucky in that sticky man-to-man defense, they really do a great job on the man with the basketball.
Groves, a good move, but he can't get it to drop, and Riddick gets the rebound. Well, Kentucky stayed down on him that time, and didn't take the head fake. Travis Ford weaves his way through and gives it to Darren Feldhaus. Now to Dale Brown. Mashburn battling Steve Rivers, and Rivers going to be called for the hold inside.
Well, we've talked an awful lot in this first half about Groves and his work on the offensive boards. Jamal Mashburn almost matching him rebound for rebound as Mashburn gets inside and draws foul number 2 from Steve Rivers.
In fact, Mashburn has 5 rebounds in the game, and Groves, who just sat down, has 4. And now Mashburn, the sophomore from New York, steps up. Boy, he's having a great year.
And the last time he played here in Rupp Arena, he had his finest night offensively, scoring a career-high 34 points, but then went to Florida. Rick Pitino told me earlier today, thought he was going to try and score 35, and it kind of backfired on him.
Yeah, he only had 12 in that game, but 26 times this year he's been in double figures, and make that 27 as he is in double figures again today. But Kentucky still having its problems at the free throw line, 3 out of 8. Approaching the 2-minute mark in the first half, and it's a 4-point Kentucky lead. Tennessee is at 1 of 3 at 3-point range. Feldhaus trying to get the steal on Allen Houston. Both teams in the bonus now.
Because Kentucky really doesn't have a big man, they switch all over the floor.
Michael Curry gets the bucket and the foul, and Curry goes to the line. That's a bonus when Tennessee gets points inside, and Curry has 6 in this game.
Curry is a pretty athletic young man, and this time Allen Houston's going to knock it over the top to him. When he turned around, the defender, Dale Brown, late getting there, and Curry a chance for the 3-point play and a chance to bring his team within 1.
Curry has been in double figures only once all season. He has 6 points early in this game, and now 7. And Tennessee is closed within 1 again.
And again, token full court pressure by Tennessee.
And Wiseman can't move his feet quick enough to get away from Ford and picks up his second foul.
Unlike Dale Brown, Travis Ford, an excellent free throw shooter, 86% so far in his first year with the Wildcats. And this might be the wrong man to put on the line as far as Tennessee's concerned.
It's well documented. Of course, he bounced back from a broken kneecap and has been battling that, really just trying to get into playing shape all season long, but he can shoot free throws. Well, we sort of jinxed him that time, but Kentucky gets the rebound. Mashburn going to the basket against Curry and gets the foul. What a big-time play.
Jamal Mashburn gets the ball at the free throw line, realizes he has the left-hand side of the lane clear. He's able to put the ball on the floor with his left hand. He sees a seam, nobody on the left-hand side of the lane. The Tennessee defender comes late, and Mashburn has the three-point play.
And Mashburn now is 17 in the game, has scored 12 of Kentucky's last 19 points. And the Kentucky lead is 4 again with 1:50 to go, and Price can't handle a bullet pass from Wiseman.
And that was a bullet pass. We should have had the jugs gun on that one. Wiseman fired it down floor. Jay Price just couldn't get his hands up quick enough to handle it. And another turnover for Tennessee.
Wade Houston and his staff, Al Brown, Ray Martin, hoping his team can hang in with Kentucky till halftime. Ford a three-pointer, that's no good. Tennessee's done a good job of getting leads on the road, but they've been folding in the second half. Against Georgia, they were able to come on and win that game, so maybe that'll turn their luck around. Wiseman out front, a long three-pointer, no good. And Curry on the offensive board. Corey Allen, he's fouled by Travis Ford reaching in.
Good ball movement by Tennessee that time as a couple of quick passes. They were able to penetrate Kentucky's defense. Travis Ford trying to go for the steal. Just gets too much forearm. See inside Wiseman, he quickly gets it over to Allen, and the foul by Travis Ford.
Dan, it's a mindset playing on the road, and if you think you're not going to win, you don't.
Yeah, what I was going to say to your comment just a few seconds ago is when you have as little success on the road as Tennessee's had, they won only one road game all of last year in the SEC. They just won their first one Wednesday night. You might be playing well enough to win on the road, but down the stretch saying, well, how are we going to find a way to kick this one goodbye?
Yeah. And on the other side of the coin, you talk about Kentucky. Sometimes their mindset might be what senior day we're supposed to win. We won 27 in a row, so we'll just roll the ball out and play.
Yeah. And I thought that emotionally Kentucky really into this game early on, but now the emotion dissipates and you start having to play basketball, get back to the fundamentals.
Allen goes 1 of 2 at the stripe. Tennessee 5 of 9 as a team now, and we're approaching the 1-minute mark in the first half. Kentucky leads by 3, and Feldhaus makes it 5.
To further demonstrate your point, Bob, Kentucky 27 straight senior day victories. So it's been a long, long time since Kentucky has lost in a situation like this one.
1964. In fact, Tennessee hasn't won on a senior day here since 1960. Allen Houston double teamed on the baseline, and they knock it away from him. Sean Woods having a great first half. 6 assists already. And Dale Brown trying to stay right with Allen Houston. That's a tough job. 5-point Kentucky lead. Under a minute to go, first half.
Well, see, Houston's such a great player. He's struggling shooting the ball today, but he's making contributions in other ways.
Almost a steal by Brown. And Tennessee has 27 seconds on the shot clock, 36 seconds on the game clock. Brown falls down again, and Houston launches a 3.
We got a fight underneath the basket. Punches between Price
Sean Woods. Yeah.
Sean Woods let one go. I don't think that he connected, but he really threw a punch at Jay Price.
And I think Price has been thrown out of the game. Let's see. Maybe Woods is gone too. They're going to separate him and talk about things.
See if we can see. Watch right under the basket. You see on the right of your screen, Price with an elbow right there, Woods with an elbow over the head, and they go at one another.
Price threw a little bit of a punch too.
Now the officials together, they've sent both teams to the bench. The officials discussing it, and they're going to come away with a decision. If the officials saw it as well as we saw it on that replay, Bob, I think both young men have to be gone.
I think so too. Because Price obviously threw a right hand, and then Woods retaliated. And They're trying to figure out what they're going to do here. Wade Houston. Let's look at it again.
Watching the right-hand side of your screen. Price right there with an elbow. Now, from the back, Woods tries to hit him with an elbow, and then they really start going.
Price threw the right hand the first time, and Woods came back with it. And now the officials trying to figure out, sort things out. What did you see? What did you see? Well, this is what I thought would happen.
Tell him to come over here.
Yeah,
we can show him what happened.
You know, Tennessee had a flare-up in the South Carolina game. Michael Curry and Price got into a little scuffle in that contest as well. 23.9 seconds to go. And now John Clougherty brings the two coaches, Wade Houston and Rick Pitino, together to discuss things. Sean Woods playing very well in this game.
I think both players are gone.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that they have, right from the start, they pointed Jay Price to the locker room.
Not exactly a senior day that Sean Woods is going to remember for a long time.
And that's what happens, indeed. Wade Houston arguing his point. Rick Pitino.
Well, I think they can't just throw out one player.
No.
If they're going to throw anybody out, I think both players have to go.
I thought both of them threw punches.
You see at the middle of your screen, it looked like an elbow first by Price, then another elbow over the top by Woods, and then a couple of punches are thrown.
Yeah. What looks like Woods might have, he got the first elbow in from the back perhaps, but they got time. So they're going to call flagrant technicals on both players, and both have been thrown out of the game. That's the word we get from the scorer's table. And so now Kentucky is going to send Chris Harris into the game. Let's go to the PA announcer. He'll announce exactly what the decision has been.
As soon as he gets it straightened out in his own mind, he's getting a little help now, and he's ready. And now to the PA announcer.
All right, here's the ruling. A flagrant technical has been assessed to number 10 Price, and a flagrant technical has been assessed to Sean Woods. Both players have been ejected from the game. Both teams will shoot 2 technical fouls, and the ball possession will go to Tennessee on the possession error.
So it will be
a non-contact foul.
In the past, they would have had a jump ball. In this situation, you just do the alternate possession, and the arrow is pointing Tennessee's way. Now, Kentucky has inserted Chris Harrison, a 6'3" freshman from Tollsburg, Kentucky, who is an 83% free throw shooter. He's hit 5 out of 6 this year, and Sean Woods, the senior, heads off to the locker room, not the way I'm sure he had wanted. And Harrison misses the free toss. So Woods heads off, and Jay Price will leave in a moment. A lot of pressure on Harrison, and he hits 1 out of 2. That's a tough spot, come off the bench cold like that. And now Allen Houston will do the honors for Tennessee, and Jay Price, also a senior, will exit. Mike Rollo, the trainer, will escort him to the locker room.
And he's going to go out the back way. That's probably a pretty good decision. He got a little kiss on the cheek from Mrs. Houston on the way out.
Boy, Houston has missed another free throw. It's 2 of 5 from the stripe. He's missed another one. 2 out of 6 for Allen Houston in this game. A very unlike Houston performance. We talked about Alice Houston. There she is, styling in a new hat. It's hard to tell who she's rooting for, isn't it, Dan?
I'll guarantee you she's the only lady in here with an orange outfit on this afternoon.
But she comes to almost every single game, very supportive of her son and, of course, the coach of the Volunteers, Wade Houston. Now we're back to play, and after we got the fisticuffs out of the way, and 20 seconds to go now.
Sure, Tennessee will hold the ball here for 1 shot. They've stayed within 3. They've got a chance to go to the locker room right in the middle of this basketball game.
Tennessee now short at point guards. Remember, Orlando Berry has been suspended from the team. And now Corey Allen on the baseline with a big shot. 7 for Allen and a long...
Oh, they're going to say that Pelfrey stepped over the baseline as he inbounded the ball. And so Tennessee will get a chance now, Bob, to go to the locker room with the lead.
46-45. And Patino says you can't step over the line, John. And Al Rivers to inbounds. 3 seconds to go. Tennessee with a chance to grab the lead at halftime. Allen Houston's going to fire it. He gets fouled. And with 1 second to go on the clock. 1/10 of a second. Excuse me. 1/10 of a second to go.
Allen Houston, I'm sure, was in Little League basketball the last time he shot 2 of 6 from the free throw line. You see that Ford gets in the air, then tries to come with a sweeping block, catches too much forearm.
And Houston hits that one to tie the game at 46. Second time the game's been tied, and Tennessee could lead for the first time, and does so at halftime. Allen Houston with 2 free throws. And the first half will come to a close, and Tennessee goes to the locker room with a 1-point lead. It's been a very interesting, fiery first half. And the Tennessee Volunteers lead the Wildcats on Senior Day by a point, and we'll be back to Rupp Arena in just a moment.
Today's SEC action is brought to you by Lowe's, helping add value to your home. By BC Headache Powder. No matter where you're hurt, you need the power of BC. By Buick and your Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. And by AT&T, proud sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. Declining real estate values have left quite a few investors uncomfortably exposed. Jefferson Pilot, insurance and financial services. After falling in love with junk bonds, some financial institutions have been positively swept away with them. At Jefferson Pilot, stability is just one of our benefits.
Kentucky's All-American pom-pom squad entertaining here at halftime with the Tennessee Volunteers trying to spoil Senior Day at Rupp Arena. Bob Kessling along with Dan Issel. Interesting first half. Tennessee withstood the first barrage by Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky came out very emotional in the quick start, especially by Richie Farmer. He was hitting 3-pointers from all over. But then as the emotion started to leave the game and it just came down to fundamentals, Tennessee doing a great job on the offensive boards, and I think their second chance points really the difference in this game right now.
And Carlos Groves has done a monster job on the boards against the monster.
Yeah,
man.
well, of course, he did a great job against Kentucky the first time they played, and Rick Pitino knew that was going to be a problem for him. Groves very athletic and a very powerful man underneath the basket.
You know, we talked about Tennessee's big win at Georgia. That win has really seemed to give Tennessee a lot of poise and confidence in this game.
Yeah, I think, it was their first SEC win on the road this year. They proved to themselves that they could do it. This is a huge game for Tennessee as far as NCAA ramifications. It really doesn't mean that much to Kentucky as far as a win or a loss, and I think right now Tennessee's playing that way.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Kentucky reacts in the second half. They're down to Tennessee by a point here at halftime, 47-46. Now it's time to look at our Gillette's SEC Scholar Athlete of the Week, and she is Jill Moore, a volleyball player from the University of Georgia, has a 3.87 GPA in math, a 2-time GTE Academic All-American, and 2-time All-Southeastern Conference performer. Jill Moore of the Georgia Bulldogs, our Gillette Scholar Athlete of the Week. At halftime at Rupp Arena in Kentucky, the Tennessee Volunteers lead the Kentucky Wildcats by a point, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Can we turn that light?
Of the week is Arkansas's Todd Day. He helped the Razorbacks to road wins over Auburn and Mississippi State, and he was blazing from the field, hitting 68% of his shots. The Razorback guard averaged 24 points, 9 rebounds, 2.5 steals, 2.5 assists. Day now owns 5 Arkansas career marks as he's helped the Razorbacks clinch a share of the SEC title and Western Division crown. Todd Day of the Arkansas Razorbacks, our Delta SEC Player of the Week. And again, the Razorbacks take on Ole Miss today. A win there will give them the outright SEC regular season championship. Here at Rupp Arena, the Tennessee Volunteers lead Kentucky 47-46, and we'll be back to take a look at other scores around the country at halftime in just a moment. A youngster might have Senior Day in about 18 years, but he's out there at Rupp Arena today as the Kentucky Wildcats are celebrating a big, big day, Dan, with the seniors and Cawood going out. I mean, you just can't get help to feel the emotion here.
Yeah, of course, it's a great day, but I can guarantee you right now, Rick Pitino in that Kentucky locker room, that's the farthest thing from his mind. He wants to get his team turned around, playing a little better basketball in the second half.
Let's look at some other scores around the country here. Of course, it's Tennessee leading the Kentucky Wildcats by a point. NC State trailing Wake Forest by 2. That game is at halftime. Also, number 12th ranked Oklahoma State leading Kansas State at the half by 9. A final is in. 17th ranked Georgetown has knocked off Pittsburgh 67-57. Louisville leads Virginia Tech. That's in the first half. Also, Virginia Commonwealth and UNC Charlotte are tied late in the first half. Other scores around the country and the SEC. 20th ranked Alabama is leading Auburn 31-18. Illinois is surprising Michigan State 71-61. And also today in the SEC women's tournament, one final is in. Third ranked Ole Miss has knocked off Auburn 58-52. The Ole Miss team might be on a collision course to face defending national champion Tennessee and the SEC women's final on Monday night. Here's some other scores from that women's tournament. Auburn has knocked off Florida in first round play yesterday. Vanderbilt beat South Carolina. Kentucky knocked off Arkansas. And LSU beat Mississippi State 61-56. We told you about that first game over today down in Albany, Georgia. Ole Miss has won against Auburn. Other games today, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Kentucky plays Alabama, and also later this afternoon, 3 o'clock, LSU takes on the Tennessee Lady Vols. Here, the Tennessee Volunteers leading the Kentucky Wildcats 47-46. Second half action coming up from Rupp Arena in just a moment. Tennessee leads Kentucky by a point. Both teams back on the floor getting ready for the second half. Bob Chesling, Dan Issel here at Rupp Arena in Lexington. First 5 minutes of the second half, pretty important, aren't they? Very important. I think it's important for Kentucky to establish some rebounding power. Badly out-rebounded in that first half. And for Tennessee, I think if they can continue to keep this crowd out of the game, it's going to be a big plus for them. Let's look at the low stats from the first half of the game. Dan, the thing that stands out, one, both teams shooting very well. Well, both teams shooting very well from the floor. Neither team shooting very well from the free throw line. And as expected, Kentucky taking more three-pointers than is Tennessee. And also the rebounding in the game. It's a key stat. Tennessee out rebounding him. The Volunteers, Groves and Wiseman doing a good job. Yeah, and as expected, Lang Wiseman, a big key to this game. He's got 11 first half points, and his team is up by 1. Of course, leading the way for Kentucky, the man you expect, Jamal Mashburn, as he has all season. Richie Farmer, who hasn't missed a shot, is 4 for 4, 2 of 2 from the three-point land, and he has 11. But he scored his 11 in the first 4.5 minutes, and he hasn't scored since. Yeah, and again, I think Richie came out really pumped up, and after he hit those couple of long bombs to start the game, kind of didn't fit into the offense as well as he had early on. He got hot right off the bat, the jump ball. He takes it hard to the goal, one of his two-point field goals in the game. He also has the 2 3-pointers. And Carlos Groves done a great job on the offensive boards. Here he goes up high for the rebound, puts it back in. He has 11 for Tennessee. And of course, the one interesting aspect of the first half that really ignited everything for at least a few moments, the scuffle under the basket. Yeah, and in this scuffle, both teams losing their point guards, their leaders on the floor. We'll have to see what effect that has on the two teams in this second half. Jay Price and Sean Woods both were ejected from the game for that scuffle under the basket. Now that brings up a point. Tennessee lost Orlando Berry last week, an indefinite suspension. He's gone. The backup point guard, the starting point guard is gone. Now, what does Tennessee do to run the show? You know what I think they do? I think they put the ball in the hands of their best athlete, the young man right in the middle of that huddle, Allen Houston. I would expect to see him handling the basketball a lot more in the second half. Houston and the Volunteers closed out with a flurry. They outscored the Cats 7-1 to close out that first half to grab this lead at 1 point at halftime, 47-46. And there's the man who might have to carry most of the load for Tennessee in the second half. And the Volunteers will start off with Lang Wiseman and Allen Houston in the backcourt along with Steve Rivers, and Tennessee jumps into a zone. Well, you like to come out in the second half and do something a little differently to disrupt what Kentucky has been doing at halftime. But Farmer throws up the 3, no good. Battle for the boards, and a foul is going to be called. As again, Jamal Mashburn goes hard to the offensive glass. Yeah, it's going to be against Corey Allen. He was pushing from the backside, and so Kentucky will inbound the ball under the basket. And Kentucky has cooled off on the three-point shot, but Brown going to fire again and hits that one. And of course, Dale Brown will be the young man who will come in this second half and take on the role that Sean Woods would have had. So Kentucky grabs the lead back. Kentucky stayed man-to-man the whole game. Allen Houston can't fire. Steve Rivers on the boards. And Jamal Mashburn runs it down in the corner. And Carlos Groves picks Richie Farmer clean and ties the game.
Well, Richie Farmer's going to get the turnover there, but I think some of the responsibility has to go to Mashburn. He kind of laid the ball on the floor out in front of Richie. Groves able to get in there and knock it away.
Second time we've been tied in this game. We're now tied at 49. Brown, another three. He's hit 2 in a row.
And you tell me how that young man can only shoot 51% from the free throw line when he can knock down three-pointers like that.
3-point Kentucky lead. And now Kentucky strips Lang Wiseman.
And it was Dale Brown from the backside that reached in and knocked that ball away from Wiseman.
Farmer penetrates. Nowhere to go. And they take it away from him. Lang Wiseman trying to run it down, and he can't get it. No, he does save it to Corey Allen. Good heads-up play by Lang Wiseman. Desperation play. Allen Houston knocked down. Pelfrey wanted to travel.
And you know, if you're Tennessee right now, you've got to feel pretty good because you came out of the first half with a 1-point lead, and the best player on your team might be having the worst game that he's had all season long. I'm sure Tennessee not expecting Houston to play that bad in the second half.
Boy, Groves took 2 of them with him to the basket that time with 15 points. And Kentucky back the other way. Brown missed that one. Now Tennessee's got a chance to take the lead against the Cats. Corey Allen going to work over Riddick, and Riddick got a piece of it, and the Cats run out of it. John Pelfrey, good pass to Mashburn.
You see why Pelfrey's second on this team in assists. That's just a tremendous pass. He just dropped it out in front of Mashburn, let Jamal run to the basketball.
Kentucky still they haven't really come out with a full court, just get out in your gym shorts play yet on defense. Now Allen Houston lost the ball, and a jump ball is going to be called. It'll still be Tennessee's in the all-in possession. Kentucky, do they need to turn it up a notch defensively?
Yeah, I think they really do, and it's going to be tough because they've been playing so well defensively already. Travis Ford checks in. Richie Farmer will sit down. Watch this pass by Pelfrey. Just drops it right to the cutting Mashburn.
Allen Houston on the baseline, puts the shot up, missed it, got fouled, and go to the line. And I think Pelfrey got the foul.
That's who it's going to be against. Take another look at it on the inbounds play. Houston makes a sharp cut to the basket. Pelfrey just pushing a little too much with the lower body.
Houston goes to the stripe. He's in pretty high cotton in terms of scores in the league. There's only been 4 players in the history of the league scored 2,000 or more points in 3 years. One of the guys is right next to me, Dan Issel, Pete Maravich, Bailey Howell, and Allen Houston. That's pretty select company, and Houston gets 1 out of 2, and it's a 2-point game. Brown nifty behind the back and is going to be held on the play. There it is, right there. Pete Maravich, you battled him a few times, didn't you?
Well, it really wasn't much of a battle. Our senior years, I averaged 34 points a game and was behind Pete by 10 in the conference.
Bailey Howell, of course, at Mississippi State, and that man, Allen Houston, climbing up the Tennessee scoring list. He's already ahead of Bernard King. Brown another 3. That's way short. And Groves gets the rebound. And again, Tennessee can tie.
Well, hitting those first 2 3-pointers might have been the worst thing that Dale Brown could have done because the last 2 he's taken, not really great shots.
Kentucky now 7 of 17 from 3-point range. Groves has the ball go off his knee, and Kentucky races out of there with it. Brown to the basket. Riddick puts it back up, can't get it, and Lang Wiseman has the ball taken away by Travis Ford. Riddick is fouled and scored. Andre Riddick stayed right with it, and Kentucky's defense came up with a big steal.
But the man who makes the play is Travis Ford. We'll take a look at the entire play. Watch Ford just reach in and strip the ball from Wiseman, and then a nice pass in the middle. Riddick gets it up and down, and he'll get a chance for his 3-point play.
And now Tennessee will send Lang Wiseman to the bench, and freshman Chris Brand is into the game. Tough situation for Brand, played 23 seconds in the first half. And again, Kentucky continues to struggle at the line. 0 for 1 this half. 5 for 13 now in the game at the stripe for the Wildcats, but it's a 4-point lead.
And Allen Houston running the show.
Brands from Bloomington, Indiana, number 3. Dale Brown's doing a pretty good job defensively on Allen Houston right now. Steve Rivers with it. Now back to Houston. Houston spins. Doesn't get it to go, and Mashburn gets the rebound. Out to Travis Ford.
Good job by Mashburn that time, keeping the Tennessee player off of the glass as Groves is going for the offensive rebound once again.
Ford with a tough pass. I think it bounced off both Mashburn and Riddick and goes out of bounds, and Tennessee gets it, and the Wildcats get Jamel Mashburn back into the game. Houston now only 2 of 8 from the field in the game, but he still has 9 points. Here's a tough pass inside, and Brand has the ball go out of bounds. Groves thinks he should have caught that pass.
Yeah, Carlos grabs his temples. He's upset with himself that he didn't come up with that basketball. As this second half unfolds, Bob, let's see if Kentucky's depth doesn't start taking advantage of the situation here. Tennessee players playing a lot of minutes, especially Houston and Groves.
Now a whistle and a holding foul on Chris Brand. You know, you brought up an interesting point, Dan. To start the season, that was one of Tennessee's strengths. They had plenty of depth. Daryl Milson then leaves with some surgery. They get Gannon Goodson out with an ankle problem, and now got all kinds of injury activities now. Tennessee trailing Kentucky by 4 at Rupp. Participated in a Kentucky tradition, spelling out Kentucky, and he was the why. Dan, you've got to learn, though. You've got to face the camera in this situation.
And it looked more like a touchdown than a wide, too. I've got to work on that one.
I tell you what, but you did all right. Dan Issel, leading scorer in Kentucky history, participating with the Wildcat fans. Both teams, Dan, in the first half shot very well. Now have cooled off a little bit this half. Tennessee only shooting 33%, Kentucky 44%. Why is that?
Well, I think the biggest reason is at halftime you get a chance to make adjustments. And as you said, Kentucky especially had to bring their defense up another notch. And as the defenses get tougher, obviously the shooting percentages are going to decline.
4-point game for the Wildcats. And again, this half, Kentucky getting points off the bench. Travis Ford, Dale Brown have been doing it. Jamal Mashburn inside against Corey Allen. Short on the shot, and Allen gets the rebound.
And I think that's something that Kentucky's going to have to start doing a little bit more of. The three-point shooting starting to cool down. They're going to have to get it to their big man under the basket.
There's a steal by John Pelfrey and a lazy pass from Corey Allen. And the Cats have a 3-on-2. Martinez ahead of the pack.
Well, Martinez gets the basket, but that play is all John Pelfrey. A nice steal, and then once again, he just laid the ball out there, and another 5-second call on the defense.
That's the 3rd time that's happened to Tennessee in the game.
Pelfrey with the steal, but watch him. This is a forward. He gets to the middle of the floor. Nice bounce pass to the wide open Martinez, and another turnover by Tennessee. And now Kentucky starting to exert themselves a little more.
Now Brand leaves the Tennessee lineup, and Wiseman comes back into the game. Ford for the ball for the Cats. 15 minutes to go in the game. Pelfrey to the basket. No good. Martinez, and gets fouled. Martinez has been coming on strong. He just seems like he's playing with more confidence, Dan.
Pelfrey thought he got fouled on this play, but you're absolutely right. Martinez gets into the glass, comes away with the offensive rebound, and Carlos Groves finding out what he's been doing to Kentucky the entire game.
And now Wade Houston watches his best inside player pick up his 3rd foul. Martinez, 3 of 4 from the field, and hits the free toss. And again, Kentucky, we talked about it, Dan. They turned up the defensive pressure, but now Tennessee breaks it.
Well, see, and I don't agree with what Rivers just did. He broke the press. Go ahead and continue to put the pressure on the defense. He brings it back out. Now Kentucky gets their half-court man-to-man in position, and it's going to be a much tougher shot.
Biggest lead of the game for the Cats at 9, and Groves takes a rare outside shot, and that won't fall. The Cats lead by 9 after trailing by 1 at halftime. Brown has the ball knocked out of bounds. It will still be Kentucky's ball with 14:33 to go. There's Groves. Might have to play a little more cautiously inside.
No doubt about it, because if he goes out with 4 fouls and has to sit down for 9 or 10 minutes.
Ooh, Mashburn on the alley-oop, couldn't handle it. He was open. But but he's also their best inside rebounder, so at both ends they'll be hurting.
Absolutely.
They pounded downside to Carlos Groves. He gets it and gets fouled. Martinez picked it up.
Martinez just not strong enough physically. Carlos Groves started about 10 feet away from the basket, just kept backing Martinez down, backing him down. By the time he finally catches the ball, look where he is. It's a layup. Martinez called for the foul, and he punches the back standard.
7-point game now. Groves, of course, missed the first 7 games of the year on the team suspension. Rejoined the team in January and has been playing gangbusters since then. He's got 18 in this game.
He's having a great game, but if Tennessee's got a chance to win this, Bob, I think that Allen Houston's going to have to start scoring some points.
There's a three-pointer outside. No good. Mashburn. Martinez. That's blocked away by Carlos Groves. Looked like a clean block. The crowd thought it might have been a foul. 6-point game.
Well, he came from the backside, and that's why the crowd wanted the foul, but I thought Martinez might have hurt himself by hitting the underside of the rim.
Yeah. Big possession for Tennessee, down 6. Dale Brown and Allen Houston going head-to-head. Oh, and Brown strips him, but Houston gets it back and gets fouled.
Let's go back, first of all, to the other end and see if we can see why the crowd was so upset. Martinez with the ball.
He just missed it.
Yeah, he just hit the underside of the rim.
Yeah. Groves might have got credit for a block, but he didn't get it. Now there's a good play.
Yeah, that's a great defensive play, but Houston stays with it. And the second time he is fouled, and he'll go back to the free throw line. He leads the SEC in the free throw shooting at 85%, but he's only 50% today, 5 of 10.
Yeah, Tony Watts from Mississippi State right on his heels, and Houston at the stripe hits that one. He won't miss many down the stretch, I'll bet. He's that good a player. He's now 5th on the all-time Tennessee scoring list, which is headed by Ernie Grunfeld. Houston has just passed Bernard King, and now has his sights set on Dale Ellis, and now he's got in this game 12 points. And it's a 4-point Kentucky lead.
Kentucky just can't put Tennessee away. Every time it looks like they're going to make a run, Tennessee stiffens up their defense and comes back.
Mashburn for 3. What a weapon.
How are you going to stop a man who can go inside at 6'8" and stuff people in the basket and then go outside and hit 3-pointers as well?
Mashburn hits his second 3-pointer of the game. He's 2 of 2 there. Leads all scorers in the game with 22 points. 9 of 15 from the field now with 9 rebounds for Mashburn. The foul is on Dale Brown. That's his 3rd. And Farmer back into the game for the Cats. Travis Ford sits down.
Even though Sean Woods is out, kicked out of the game for the fight with Jay Price, Rick Pitino's in great shape. He has that young man, Dale Brown, in addition to Richie Farmer and
Junior Brady, who's now in the game.
They can all play the point guard.
Lang Wiseman playing the point now for Tennessee. Again, remember, Jay Price and Sean Woods were kicked out of the game in the first half for a scuffle under the basket. Mashburn trying to stay in front of Carlos Groves down low. They're looking for Groves every time he gets the pass, working on Mashburn. Double team, gives it over to Michael Curry. And Curry short on the shot. And Junior Brady, the junior out of Jacksonville, gets the rebound. Pelfrey to the basket. Tried to drop it off to Mashburn. And out, Carlos Groves. 20 for Groves. And it's a 5-point lead again. 64-59 Kentucky with 12 minutes to go in the game. Good fake by Mashburn. They almost got the 4th foul on Carlos Groves.
But look at the athletic ability of able to keep the dribble alive.
Mashburn inside against Groves. Goes in, missed the shot, gets his own rebound. Bodies flying everywhere, and Mashburn scored.
Jamal Mashburn just kept going after it, and his job got a lot easier when Groves went to the floor. But remember, he's in foul trouble. He can't afford to pick up number 4.
The Kentucky lead now is 7 over the Tennessee Volunteers, and a timeout has been asked for here at Rupp Arena. The Wildcats trying to win on Senior Day for the 28th straight time. half, 66-59. Tennessee led at halftime by a point over the Cats. Fans, we'd like to tell you we're now experiencing a phenomenon known as sun outages. It's only temporary. It will clear up, so please do not call your local station. Dan Issel, if we have time, will explain what exactly a sun outage is. We don't have time for that right now. Smokey trying to keep his Volunteers into the game. And Joe B. Hall, former Wildcat coach, won a national championship here in '78. Observing the game. He's a member of the University of Kentucky television crew now. Corey Allen trying to work it in. The 5-second count is on, but the Volunteers get it in. Brady now guarding Lang Wiseman in backcourt. Here's an up-court pass. Rivers gets it away from Martinez and takes it down low, gives it off to Allen Houston with a reverse slam.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, Bob. When you break the press, go ahead and put the pressure on the defense. Don't, at that point, just take a deep breath and bring it all and start all over again.
Brady inside gets away from Wiseman. And Junior gets his first basketball, former walk-on, that has earned a scholarship with Kentucky. 7-point Wildcat lead. Richie Farmer dives across the defense, can't get the pass. And Lang Wiseman comes up with a deflection and gives it low to Corey Allen. Good block by Martinez. And Farmer comes up with a loose ball. 11 minutes to go in the game. And Pelfrey drops it down low. Feldhaus goes up. That's blocked away by Corey Allen. Feldhaus kicks it out to Farmer. Now to Pelfrey. And Feldhaus takes it in close. Drops it in low. Pelfrey looking. Fakes 2, 3. Curry blocks the shot. Wiseman comes up with a loose ball. What action under the Tennessee basket. Now Rivers takes it in. They're not going to count it. Foul before the shot.
The crowd here in Rupp Arena wanted to travel on that call, but I think that's impossible because the dribble was kept alive the entire time. The foul called against Martinez and wholesale substitutions for Kentucky as Brown, Ford, and Mashburn all check back in.
Dan, it's interesting about this Kentucky team. Sometimes they just go into a shooting funk, and they're in one right now. And Allen Houston, another brilliant move to the basket with 16.
Well, you found it hard to believe that Allen Houston was going to struggle offensively for the entire 40 minutes. And if he gets hot, we'll have a great game right down to the wire.
Martinez working against Curry, and he's bumped and fouled down low.
Get a chance to look again at that fast break as Houston throws it in over his head.
A few style points there. There's Ernie Grunfeld. Used to play with the New York Knicks, of course. Tony White, a great scorer for Tennessee. Outside, Mashburn tees up a 3. That's no good. Allen Houston, as we said, is now 5th on the all-time scoring list at Tennessee.
And I think Wade Houston's made a nice play here. He took Groves out because he was getting tired. And when you get tired, you have a chance to pick up foolish fouls. So he's going to give Groves a blow. And then Carlos will have 2 personal fouls left when he comes back in.
Midway of the second half, and now Steve Rivers just drops the ball and double dribbles. And Michael Curry, I think, knocks it out of bounds, and Kentucky's got it. But again, Dan, Kentucky's been in this situation all afternoon, a chance to put them away and haven't been able to do it.
Yeah, and now, because the lead has gotten up to 8, Wade Houston goes with Carlos Groves. He's had enough rest as far as Coach Houston's concerned.
And Allen goes out of the game, and here's Chris Brand back into the contest for the Volunteers. He'll replace Lang Wiseman. And the offensive boards have been a factor, but look at Tennessee in the second half.
Yeah, you can see that Kentucky has turned that situation around, and you had to think that Coach Pitino gave offensive rebounds for Tennessee a lot of instruction during his halftime talk.
Now, Chris Harrison, a freshman who played briefly in the first half, is now in there right now. He's an outside gunner and might get a chance to launch some threes. Kentucky in the game, 9 of 21 from three-point range. Cats lead by 8. Feldhaus now to Martinez. Kentucky would love to get the ball in low to Mashburn and let him work on Groves, but so far Tennessee's played pretty good defense. Now Mashburn and Groves isolated out front. Here's a 3 by Harrison. That's way long. And Steve Rivers gets the rebound. A little adrenaline that time for Harrison.
It's a good thing the backboard was there. We'd be going up in the crowd after the ball.
Now 2 freshmen battle out front, Harrison and Brand. Tennessee really likes Brand. He just hadn't had a chance to play very much this year. Kentucky trying to double team Allen Houston when he gets the ball now. Shot clock down to 20. Feldhaus and Allen Houston look eye to eye out front. Curry sets the pick. They drop it off to Curry, and he fires and hits. 9 points from Michael Curry.
Kentucky did a great job defensively fighting over the pick and staying with Allen Houston, but then when both defenders went to Allen, that left Curry wide open.
But again, they'd like to have Curry taking that shot from 15 and not Allen Houston. Groves reaches inside. Mashburn can't get the ball to go. Pitino didn't like that. He thought he got the 4th foul on Carlos Groves, and Allen Houston knifes down the lane. Feldhaus back the other way, can't hold on to the pass, and Kentucky needs a blow. 71-67. Kentucky has its lead cut down to 4 of some sloppy ball handling and brilliant play by Allen Houston. We saw Tennessee cut the lead to 4, and Rick Pitino letting his feelings known during the timeout.
Well, he was upset with both plays. First, the defense let Houston walk in for the easy lay-in, and then this team threw the ball away trying to break going the other way.
At the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting a BP best player from each team. In addition to recognizing our 2 best players, BP and its dealers will contribute $2,000 to the Southeastern Conference to be distributed among the member institutions' general scholarship funds under a conference-approved plan. Tennessee with the ball, down 4. Chris Brand, the freshman in backcourt, looking for help. Kentucky trapping Allen Houston when they can. They'd like to keep the ball away from him, but that's tough in Tennessee's offense.
And they have picked up that full court defense. Now they're in a mode where they're trying to take the ball away.
7.5 minutes to go. A three-pointer from Chris Brand. Brand only his 7th three-pointer of the season, and the freshman steps up and takes a big shot, and it's a 1-point game. What a big boost that was for Tennessee right there to have a freshman take a shot like that. Now there's a whistle.
I think the call's going to go against Brand. Looked like he was trying to hold on to Pelfrey as Pelfrey went over the screen set by Mashburn.
Chris, of course, from Bloomington, Indiana. His parents not only come to almost every single game, they almost come to every single practice. They come down to Knoxville quite often to see Chris play. They are here in the stands today. And now the officials are talking.
How'd they get in?
No, that's true. It's tough to get tickets here now.
Veteran UK followers that I talked to this week said this game was the toughest ticket in Lexington since Pete Maravich used to come to Memorial Coliseum. It was tough to get in this place today.
In fact, when a big dog like you can't get tickets, you know it's tough. You tried everybody you know, didn't you?
Yeah. Can I say hi to all my friends watching on TV?
Mashburn was fouled by Chris Brand, and he knocks home his 25th point. And Kentucky leads by 2. Biggest lead in the half so far for the Cats has been 9. Tennessee led at halftime by 1. He missed that one. Battle for the boards again, and Carlos Groves comes up big one more time. 7 minutes to go on the game. Kentucky leads by 2 with a freshman running the show.
A lot of pressure to put on the young man, but so far he looks equal to the task.
Very heady basketball player. Carlos Groves could tie the game. Mashburn gave him a push and then fouled him.
And again, a nice move inside by Groves. First, he gets physical and backs Mashburn under the basket. Then watch him keep his pivot foot down. He makes a couple of different steps, but his pivot foot stays down. Mashburn has to foul him to stop him.
And that was about the 3rd time Mashburn hit him. Finally got him on the wrist, and Jamal picks up his 2nd foul. And now Groves will step to the line. Groves 20 points, 7 rebounds, and is perfect at the line now. 3 out of 3 and 21 points. 1-point game. Groves could tie it. Not a great free throw shooter, but having a big day today. That won't stay down. Again, Kentucky controls the 1-point advantage. Dale Brown back into the game for the Cats. And Mashburn going to put up a 3. What a big shot.
Not only is Dale Brown back in the game for the Cats, but so is this crowd. Big shot by Mashburn gives Kentucky a 4-point lead.
And Mashburn 3 of 3. Here's a steal. Brand goes over the back and fouls. He fouls Pelfrey. And again, the freshman that time hurried it just a bit.
Well, you know that first time this young man's played in this big a ball game in front of this large a crowd, and it has to affect you. And John Pelfrey, who might not want to remember his senior day, he has not scored a point yet.
No, he hit 1 3-pointer.
Did he?
No, he didn't. You're right. You're right.
I didn't think he had a point.
Pelfrey gets that one. You're right. That was Mashburn who hit that other 3. Next Coming up on JP Sports, our Pepsi Game of the Week, Mississippi State plays the LSU Tigers. Tim Brando and Larry Connolly will have that one for you. Pelfrey now has 2 points in the game, and it's a 6-point Kentucky lead. You keep looking up there. Kentucky spurts away, and Tennessee comes right back on him. Brand weaves his way through traffic. Good pass. Michael Curry can't follow and then gets fouled on the putback. Brand showing a lot as a freshman out there.
He really is, and I'll tell you another young man is showing a lot is Curry. What an athletic move this was. The first one, the first shot that he takes. Let's just take another look at it. Watch this pretty pass by Brand. The first shot that he takes, he has to double clutch and hits the rim, and he goes right back after it and gets a second opportunity.
And Curry can't get that one to drop. Neither team shooting that one at the free throw line still. Tennessee only 12 of 21, and Kentucky 9 of 18. Curry, who's playing a lot more confidence in the recent weeks. They're going to him more now because he's scoring. And Curry picks up his 10th point. That ties a seasonal high for Michael Curry. It's a 5-point Kentucky lead. Mashburn has the ball flicked away, but Brown gets it back. Pelfrey won't take the shot. Farmer. Here's Farmer cutting through. A lot of traffic down low, and he spins it back out. Pelfrey open for a three. That's his first basket. Pelfrey gives Kentucky an 8-point lead again.
And once again, here comes the crowd.
There's a trap. Brown knocks it out of Chris Brand's hand. And Tennessee will retain possession with 27 seconds to go on the shot clock. And now Corey Allen's coming back in. Lang Wiseman comes back in. And the freshman Chris Brand stays on the floor. Again, we'll reiterate that Steve Rivers, Tennessee's starting point guard, and Sean Woods both ejected in the first half. Orlando Berry is on indefinite suspension. So Brand, the freshman, having to play a big role today. Lang Wiseman gets it down low. Carlos Groves, and Martinez blocks it from behind. And now Groves reaches around and knocks the ball free, but Kentucky picks it up and comes the other way. Pelfrey walked. John's struggling, isn't he?
Well, there was a lot of contact down on Tennessee's end of the court, but no foul call.
I thought Groves might have been called for his fourth down there.
At first it looked like Groves got fouled, and then it looked like he committed a foul.
We're approaching 5 minutes to go in the game, and Pelfrey with a steal. It's a 2-on-2. Pelfrey gets held by Brand. Good foul by Brand. It won't count. Bucket won't go. Brand saved a slam. That's his fourth foul.
Well, maybe John Pelfrey will remember his senior day after all. Another steal. He's 10th in the league in steals. And right there, the foul taken by Brand. But just for good measure, John's going to go ahead and throw it down anyway.
Maybe the NBA continuation, not that time. A little too far out for that one. Here's John Pelfrey. Paintsville, Kentucky. His high school retired his jersey number earlier this season. Pelfrey, perfect at the line today. 3 out of 3, and now has 6 points in the game. He's a member of the 1,000-point club here at Kentucky. A former Mr. Basketball in the state, and trying to end his last game at Rupp Arena in a big way. And the Kentucky lead, it's its biggest, 10. 82-72. Now let's see how much Tennessee's got left. Rivers gives it out to Corey Allen.
Kentucky doing a great job quickly getting back defensively.
Tennessee's been patient offensively all game, but they're running out of time. Carlos Groves missed the shot, but drew the foul again. He had everybody in the white shirts jumping on that head fake, didn't he?
Well, the Kentucky's figured out that when Groves gets the ball on the low post, he's not going to do a whole lot of passing. So as soon as he gets the ball, everybody comes. Pelfrey gets in the air. He tries to avoid the contact, but when the shot was real short, Groves goes to the free throw line.
And so Pelfrey goes out with 4, and another senior, Darren Feldhaus, comes back in for the Cats. He's from Maysville, out of Mason County. He's another member of the 1,000-point club. Carlos Groves at the line, knocks it down. They're expecting big things out of Carlos in the postseason. If you remember, Dan, he came on strong in the SEC tournament last year.
And as we talked about in the pregame show, any team that gets hot during that conference tournament could come away with the win, including a team ranked as low as Tennessee.
It's an 8-point game. Kentucky's got the ball and the lead, and Tennessee's got the pressure. Clock counts on, and Farmer breaks the pressure, and now they slap it away, and Farmer gets it back almost a steal. Feldhaus for 3. Big basket. That's his second three-pointer. He's 2 of 4 from there, and Kentucky leads by 11. And an offensive foul on Lang Wiseman. Big call. Richie Farmer drew the foul.
And you see the defense really feeds on the emotion. The crowd is in this game. Big bucket by Feldhaus. The defense just turns it up another notch. Farmer does a nice job to draw the foul.
4:20 to go in the game, and Kentucky has its biggest lead, 11, and the ball.
And now you'll see Kentucky get very deliberate, make sure they get a good shot.
Martinez on the baseline. The ball stripped away clean. Or was it? They say it was a good clean block, but Houston stepped on the baseline, bringing it out. So Kentucky not only gets the ball back, they get 45 more seconds on the shot clock.
And with 4:07 left to go in the game, an 11-point lead, it's exactly what Rick Pitino is telling his squad. You don't have to be in a hurry. The clock's our ally.
And the Cats will bring it in. Farmer, he'll back it out. Kentucky still has a chance to tie for the SEC championship if Ole Miss upsets Arkansas. So it's a must-win game for the Cats. Here's Farmer down the lane. That's going to be a blocking call on Carlos Groves. That's his 4th foul. You know, a guy with a bad back, he flops around pretty good, doesn't he?
And this is the second foul that he's gotten, just not getting in position quick enough.
Yeah,
he tried to get over there and pick up the charge against Farmer, but you see he's definitely still moving when Farmer gets in the air.
Yeah, he got there way late that time, and now Farmer steps to the strike. There's Groves with the 4 fouls. They also having a big game with 23 points. Richie Farmer. He's also another former Mr. Basketball in the state. State MVP for 2 straight years. Great free throw shooter. Gives Kentucky a 12-point, now 13-point lead. So the Kentucky Wildcats seemingly having this game put away, but Wade Houston tries to rally his troops for the last 3:52. We'll be back after this word from Pepsi. It's Cawood Ledford's last game. The Kentucky Wildcats trying to send the voice of the Cats out on a good note. Tennessee Dan shooting 55% from the field in Rupp Arena, but down 13.
Yeah, and of course, there's a lot of other factors that go into a basketball game, not just the field goal shooting, the free throw shooting, the rebounding. But right now, as you take a look at the free throw shooting, right now, I would say the emotion is the biggest factor in this game.
Yeah, both teams have missed 9 free throws in the game. Now Tennessee, Dan, will they put up 3-point shots now?
Well, they almost have to. We're getting into that range because I don't think that Kentucky is going to give them too many opportunities the rest of this game.
Under 4 minutes to go. Here's Allen Houston. Knifes through, a whistle and a block is going to be called on Jamel Martinez. And that's his 4th foul. Again, Kentucky is 16-0 this year when they make more 3-point shots than the opponents. And today, Kentucky has 12, Tennessee 3.
Yeah, just like Groves down at the other end. Martinez just doesn't quite get there in time. You could see him trying to help out the official. He almost helped himself into a technical foul.
Houston, 18 points on the day, 7 of 12 at the line. And that might hurt him in his race for the SEC free throw shooting championship. He won it last year. And Houston hits that. In fact, the last Tennessee player to do that, won back-to-back free throw shooting titles, was Danny Schultz back in the early 60s. Houston has 19 in the game now.
John Pelfrey back in the game.
Second shot by Houston is good. He's got 20. So Kentucky is on a 15-6 run to grab the lead, and now it's 87-76, 11 points for the Cats, the lead now. as we approach 3 minutes. Brown, good pass to Mashburn. 30 for Jamal Mashburn.
What you do in a situation like that is you want to take time, but if you get a sure basket, you'll always take the points instead.
Allen for a three. That's not his shot. Look at Allen Houston inside, and he gets fouled. You know, Houston is becoming one of the most complete players in this league with offensive rebounding, assists, turnover, with steals.
He's got one of those wiry bodies, Bob, that really helps him get inside. And, of course, once he can get position inside, he has such great leaping ability. You know, he's one of those rare combinations. You usually see coaches' sons really understand how to play the game, but they don't have the physical abilities to go along with it. Houston, not Wade, but Allen has it all in the same package.
But he's really struggling at the line today. 9 of 15. His team's trailing by 13 points with 3:03 to go. That one thought about it, but stayed in finally. 21 points for Allen, and the lead is 12. Kentucky gets it into Farmer.
Now Tennessee really has to pick up this pressure because they need some steals, and they need them in a hurry.
And Kentucky's going to use some clock. Mashburn, 30 points in the game, gets it over to Richie Farmer. Farmer he's only scored 2 points, 2 free throws since that early barrage when he got Kentucky out of the gate with 11 points in the first 4.5 minutes.
You see Kentucky trying to take time off the clock, but they continue to run their motion offense, back screens, good hard cuts to the basket.
And the shot clock is down to 10. Farmer going to take it to the basket and score. 15 for Richie. .91-77 is our score here at Rupp Arena in Lexington as the Kentucky Wildcats trying to close it out on Senior Day. Bob Kessling and Dan Issel with you. And here's another steal, and Feldhouse slams. And now the game's getting away from Tennessee.
And the seniors getting a chance to strut their stuff for the last time here in Rupp Arena.
We'd like to welcome the stations just joining us. Pelfrey going to fire. That roof would have come off the place if you would have hit that one. A whistle and a foul on Kentucky. Darren Feldhouse picks it up. This is Bob Kessling with Dan Issel from Rupp Arena in Lexington with 2 minutes to go in this basketball game. We want to remind you to stay tuned because later Mississippi State will be taking on the LSU Tigers, and that game will be covered by Tim Brando and Larry Conley. And now Richie Farmer, one of the seniors, goes out. Farmer leads with 15 points. Now here comes Darren Feldhouse out of the game. Feldhouse leads with 13. And Houston goes back to the strike. Allen fires and hits, and Houston in the game has 22 points. Houston had 24 and 26 in his last 2. 23 for Allen. And that's a 93-79 game. Tennessee led by 1 at halftime, and Kentucky has come back and taken control of the game in the second half as Martinez goes to the basket and gets fouled by Jay Price. Oh, I'm sorry. Steve Rivers gets the. Price hadn't been here for a while, has he? He got thrown out a long time ago.
It'd be tough for him to pick up one. He showered about an hour and 15 minutes ago.
For the fans just joining us, we will tell you that Jay Price, and that's why it was on my mind, and Sean Woods got into a bit of a scuffle underneath the basket. Both players were thrown out in the first half. So Richie Farmer, who you just saw, has done a terrific job, really leading Kentucky in the second half. Dale Brown has done a good job out there. Junior Brady has played a little bit also at the point. So everybody has filled in admirably for Kentucky. Martinez now with 8. Second shot for Martinez is good. And Martinez has 9. Wiseman for Tennessee. Puts it up long range. Tough shot. That goes down. And Wiseman's got 13 in the game.
Tennessee tried to call a quick timeout, but Kentucky got the ball inbounds.
Now the Kentucky fans start thinking about 100, but Farmer is picked by Corey Allen. And now there's the timeout. Allen has 9 points in the game. Just under a minute and a half to go in this game, and Kentucky leads 95-83, and that we'll be back after these messages from your local SEC station. Kentucky trying to nail down its 23rd win of the season. That would be the most for a Kentucky team since the Wildcats won 25, lost 5 back in 1988. Kentucky trying to salt away the final 1 minute of this game. Travis Ford, Kentucky's best free throw shooter, now comes in and gets fouled right away by Chris Brand, and Brand is fouled out of the game. So Brand will remember this. The first time he's fouled out of a game was at Rupp Arena in Lexington, and Brand sits down. But Dan, he's got a lot of basketball instincts, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does, and you have to be impressed, pressed into duty here because of Jay Price being thrown out of the game for fighting, and not a great offensive showing, but I thought he did a good job running the club for Wade Houston.
Remember, he stepped up and hit that big three-pointer from the corner as Tennessee rallied to cut the lead down to 1 at 71-70. But Kentucky has really worn down Tennessee, and I think the Volunteers are a little bit out of gas.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, because Kentucky had a number of players on their bench to go to, and Tennessee just didn't quite have the troops to stay up with them.
Here's Travis Ford. He's missed his only free throw attempt. He's hit 2 3-pointers, though. Ford at the stripe, and nails that one. We want to remind you about the SEC Football Championship game, December the 5th at Legion Field in Birmingham. For information on tickets, call 1-800-277-1700. The first historic SEC Football Championship game between the divisional leaders. And Ford now has hit both free throws and has 8 in the game. And now Ford goes out of the contest, and Richie Farmer, the senior, is back in. I'm sure so he can get his ovation when they take him out of the game. Although Pelfrey's back in the game as well. So 2 seniors on the floor right now. 14-point Kentucky lead. Wiseman forces a 3 and hits. Wiseman with 16. And again, Tennessee asks for a timeout. That's the second 3-pointer of the game for Lang Wiseman. Tennessee leads by 11 at Rupp Arena. Kentucky leads by 11. Here's our BP best players of the game. Carlos Groves. Groves for the Volunteers with 23, and Jamal Mashburn with 30. And both of these players had big impacts in the game, Dan.
Well, they really did. And, of course, both of them inside players. Not a lot of big people in this game, but Mashburn has done it inside and outside. Groves has done most of his damage right under the basket.
Mashburn with 10 rebounds to boot in the game, and Groves has 7. Now, Alonzo Johnson, the big Tennessee 7-foot freshman, centers into the game for the final minute. Kentucky will just hold on to the ball, try and draw fouls. Travis Ford gets it a little Pelfrey, and he scores. John Pelfrey is finished with a flurry. He's got 9 points in the game. And now the Kentucky crowd still wants 100. Allen Houston gets away from Farmer and misses. Corey Allen on the rebound. And he hits. Tennessee doesn't call timeout. And Kentucky's got the ball. They got a chance for 100. Ford up court. 99-88, Kentucky salting it away. Let's see if Tennessee fouls. They might not, just to make sure they don't get 100.
And the crowd says, the heck with taking time off the clock. Let's get another basket.
9 seconds. Pelfrey is going to hold it. Farmer going to put it up for 100. And Feldhouse tips it and won't stay down, and the game is over. A big senior win for the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky wins at 99-88. For Dan Issel, I'm Bob Kessling. Thanks for being with us. You've been watching Jefferson Pilot Sports exclusive coverage of Southeastern Conference basketball. Now stay tuned for LSU, Mississippi State.